Hey there, and I want to thank you for watching the first part. You did watch the first part, right? You went there before you came to this video, uh, which had a lot of stuff like Scream Factory and Arrow. So, what other companies am I going to be going into in this one? Well, I had originally planned to do like basically the Arrow box sets and the Scream Factory box sets, like the ones that I thought are the best. But I want to save this little third part. I want you guys actually watch some of these here, hopefully, and see some kind of different stuff. So we're going to be looking into some Olive Video, to some Severin, to some Vinegar Syndrome, to some 88 Films. There's even 10 randoms that I think you should own. And also, there's going to be some of my favorite Steelbooks right at the end of this video. So hope you guys watch all the way through. I'm going to go grab my vanilla Coke and I'll be right back. Hey there, and so I'm back, and what we're going to do right now is start in this. Some of these are shorter lists than the last one. You had like some top 10s there before. Some of these actually don't have a lot of the company, or I do a lot of it's in DVD format, so, and I'm doing this just on Blu-ray. Or sometimes, like the first one I show, by the way, so you guys know this is my vanilla Coke. It's keep me hydrated right now. Well, first off, thanks to a good friend of mine, I finally was able to grab a very first Code Red. I'm very, very proud of this. Cutthroats 9 is a movie that I really did enjoy. I really do like this. And if you're going to be collecting Code Red, this is one that I do strongly recommend. It's not for everybody. It's pretty like it's a gory film. It's like one of the more intense westerns. But again, I do like this one. It's my only Code Red, so I thought I had to put it there. So proud of it. I got a Code Red. Cutthroats 9 and Nightmare on the Loose. Really cool. So first off, I put in, because I have a lot of Vinegar Syndrome, and the thing is, I haven't watched all my Vinegar Syndrome yet. So there's ones that I can't put in there until I see them. I don't want to recommend something that I kind of haven't seen. So we'll start out with I just put in 2 Vinegar Syndrome titles for right now, and I do have like about 10 or so Vinegar Syndrome titles. But I have to recommend the Nightmare Weekend. This is a bad movie. It's a really bad movie. I want you to know going in, before you even like go in and say, okay, you're an asshole. You recommended this movie, and it's really bad. This is an extremely bad movie. It's got a random sex scene, a killer puppets, a really strange like killer puppet, a really strange kind of like almost like a sci-fi type of like aspect to it. It's very cheesy, but if you like bad films and you like these kind of like so badly awful that it's actually entertaining, good, and engrossing, Nightmare Weekend's the movie for you. There is nothing out there like Nightmare Weekend. The cover is an unusual cover for this movie, actually, but it's a batshit insane film. Speaking of other batshit insane films, Night Train to Terror. This is one that I watched on like one of those like public domain, multi-pack things originally, and it was one night I was up in Ontario and I saw this, and man, I really got into it. I actually did. And it's like very cheesy. The song is horrible, but it's like really addictive. And I love the movie, and I've watched this movie several times. It's not a good movie. It's like basically 3 movies that weren't made, well, 2 that weren't made really, and they were put together to make this anthology film. Now the cool thing with this one is that one of the films here actually did get made, and that one's a movie called Greta. And the special feature on here is the actual full film, Greta, which actually makes a lot more sense. Is it a good film? Not really, but I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I was going to. And it made a lot more sense than the short that's actually in the anthology of the film. Night Train to Terror if you like cheesy stuff, I do recommend it. Next up are some Olive Films. So this one is a 6, so we do have one that got a slightly bigger list. So I couldn't take any off for this list here of these first 3. So they collaborated with Slash Video, and he put out the extremely horribly bad but extremely fun movie that is Deadly Prey. Everybody that has watched this movie with me loves this movie. They all know it's horrible. They all get the cheesiness of it, but you just got to keep watching. And the film has a bit of everything, and none of it makes much sense. Cameron Mitchell's in this film. I think Troy Donahue is in this film as well. I'm pretty sure he is, right? Yeah. Of course, the epic action star that is Ted Pryor. They would go on to make a sequel to this, like 20 years later, called Deadliest Prey, which I really like to have now. But I'm guessing it's gotten way more expensive than this one came out. This was like good priced. So Deadly Prey, really fun. Next up is Shock 'Em Dead, another collaboration with Slash Video. Really fun film, way more fun than I expected it to be. Tracy Lords is like shown looking all sexy there, and Tracy Lords is an extremely attractive woman. She's also the only female in this movie that isn't naked. That is true. I guess at the time she had just was trying to downplay the basically the image that she had before from doing adult films, and she just took like a no nudity clause, and it kind of worked for her because she picked some really good films that have kind of become cult classics, and the acting's atrocious, but it is a fun film. It is one of those like get a bunch of people together, watch film. It's a good party film for that. Speaking of really bad, but I love it anyway films, Satan's Blade. The Arrow Video put out an edition of this. I'm wondering if there's any more features. I don't know. I got to check that out. But I think I have a good enough edition of this one for right now. Well, I can't afford to get a second one anyway. So 30th anniversary copy of Satan's Blade. There's some great features on here. One, I'm not sure if his wife or his mom or his sister or whatever is interviewing him, but there's one insane interview with the director on here as he talks about stuff and shows like memorabilia from Satan's Blade. This movie is crazy, but I love this movie and I watch it so many times, and it's another one. All 3 of these films here have been watched several times with several people, and we've all had a blast. Even people that don't normally like the bad movie films have enjoyed these. Next up from Olive is Night of the Demons 2. Again, I love Night of the Demons. Is this as good as the first one? No, not really, but it is still a really fun film, and I do enjoy it. Not a lot of special features on it, just a commentary, but it is a Brian Trenchard Smith commentary, and he does some pretty cool commentaries, so cannot fault that. And Night of the Demons 2, had to put that on the list. Next up is, actually got 5, not 6 of these, is Deadly Bees. And again, I like these bee films. I do like those Nature Runs Amok films. And I did have, but I didn't bring it up for when the Vinegar Syndrome was a movie called The Bees. And for some reason I missed out on that. So that was supposed to be part of the ones there, because I do like those. Deadly Bees is a fun film. It's from Amicus Films. So, it's kind of like the British, they're kind of Hammer's rival. And there we go. 5 Olive Films. These are going through a lot faster than the last ones, guys. So either I apologize for that, or I'm glad of that. So next up is 3 Blue Undergrounds. So I picked out Toolbox Murders. Got this one. It had been years since I'd seen it. I didn't know if this was going to be good, if it was going to be just total expletive, if it was going to stand the test of time. Man, did it stand the test of time. I really dug this film. It's actually based on a true story. I didn't know a lot about that going in, but me and my son watched this. We really thoroughly enjoyed this film. Great cast. Cameron Mitchell did a great job in this one. Wesley Uri was in this one. He did a really fantastic job as well. And apparently Marion Walter was actually an adult film star, which I was not aware of. But I really liked this film. There was, of course, the remake, Toolbox Murders, which is nothing at all like this one here. And this is fun. This is a fun film. and it's a dark film. They go in some really dark spots, and they have some nice, cool twists and turns. One that you see coming right away, and another one that you really don't. And at least I didn't. Maybe I'm naive about it. Watch it for yourself and find out. Toolbox Murders is actually a really fun film. It's usually fairly inexpensive to get. That one, when I found it anyway, could have been got for like $10 or under. Vanilla. Next up is Maniac Cop 2. You knew that William Lustig, who worked with, worked with Blue Underground, or owns Blue Underground basically, was going to do a really good copy of Maniac Cop 2, his film. Synapse may have had the first one, but he went all out with Maniac Cop 2. And commentary on here. We got a great making of, a Cine Family Q&A with director William Lustig, and it's just some incredible stuff. This is a great film. If you have not seen Maniac Cop 2, it is an awesome, awesome film. It's like the only film that, here, spoiler alert, guys, can kill Bruce Campbell at the beginning of the movie and still kick ass afterwards. This one rocks. Not as well loved, but still fun in its own way, is Maniac Cop 3. The Maniac Cop aspect of this, and the kind of the voodoo thing, is actually the least fun part of the film. The Jackie Earle Haley and some couple of the twists that go along with it aren't that bad. Is it a great sequel? No. Do you need it to yeah, you do. If you're going to get the Maniac Cop movies, you don't stop at 1 and 2. You get the third one. There is actually a very, very excellent documentary on this, and as great as documentaries are on films that do everything right and go fantastic, when you get a film that didn't please the masses as much, that steered away from what they thought it should be, those documentaries turn out to be freaking fantastic. Next up, 5 from 88Films. Again, like when I choose these here, as you guys know, I'm choosing the single editions, I'm not choosing any special editions or any really big limited edition slipcase ones or any multi-movie ones. That will have a list all of its own. So first off, we have one from the Italian collection, and that is Bloodstained Shadow. I didn't remember this movie at all going in. I'm not sure if I'd seen it before, actually. Big surprise, and such a very, as far as these films go, it's a fairly classy film, kind of subdued, but I really, really love this movie. There are no features on this one at all. Bonus features, like you'll be able to watch in either English or Italian. That's the features. But what's really cool, there's this booklet here, and it's actually a really good book. It's a great, when you watch a film and you're left with certain questions and things you want to know, and you open up that booklet, and the booklet starts immediately answering some of those questions that you're wondering about, you got a good release and a good write-up. And there's a good write-up on this one here, Bloodstained Shadow. The rest here are some of their Slasher Classics collection. I'm actually a big fan of them. First up is one that I think everybody should own, and that is Graduation Day. Why this version of Graduation Day? Well, it has a documentary called Scream Queens, Horror Heroines Exposed. It's very fun. It's a cool documentary. Now, all the features from the Trauma release of Graduation Day have been ported over here as well. I'm pretty sure all of them are here. And, some of them directly go with the with Graduation Day. Other ones actually have nothing to do with it, because that's the way Trauma does their features. So they got all the Trauma ports here, plus a full hour and a half long documentary on Scream Queens. So how can you ask for more than that? It's a great edition, the beautiful red case. That was back in the day that they actually still were doing booklets on there as well. Highly recommended. Next up is actually this very second one, and that is Mother's Day. I love this movie. I know it's not, it's kind of the girl in terror, the kind of the girl in peril type of film, but it's actually really well crafted. I like the way that it was done. I like the twist at the end. I thought the twist at the end was actually pretty ingenious, and most people say it's not coming. I didn't see it coming, so maybe, I just didn't. It was cool. I should have saw it coming, but it was just well done. Apparently, this is Eli Roth's favorite horror film. He does have do an interview on here. It's actually really good. If you ever some people hate on Eli Roth a lot, but I know one thing. When he's doing featurettes on films, he does really good jobs with them. And Mother's Day is no exceptions. Fantastic little film. I like that. Next up is a really bad film. There, it's a classic bad film. The Room's a classic bad film. Troll 2 is a classic bad film. People see this one and they don't believe that until they see it, that there's a film that's actually this bad and this just crazy. And that is Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Like I said, some of these here are personal tastes and ones that, because I do like a lot of cheesy films. I grew up in, in MST3K times and some pretty bad films, but I will admit to the fact of that. And there's some great features on here as well. There's some group commentary. I think there's some making of. It's actually some pretty good making of. There's some pretty funny stuff on here. And last but not least, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, which I thought was a fun film. Fred Olin rated this one, but even better, there's Linnea Quigley's horror workout video. Yes, you can learn to get in shape thanks to Linnea Quigley and her horror workout video. You gotta see it. Next up are two, and I have most of the Shout Factory releases that I got when I started collecting it on were DVD releases, but there are two Blu-ray releases that I thought I should mention. Roger Corman's Cult Classic. If you're going to grab one of these out of the gate, Piranha is definitely one to get. I do really, really dig this film. This is not lenticular, but just look at that. Kind of gives it kind of feel to it when you look at it. There are some great features on here behind the scenes. There's got audio commentary on here with Joe Dante. Piranha trailer with commentary by John Davison from Courtesy of Chairs of Hell. Just a bunch of stuff. It's a really, really good one, and I strongly recommend it. Next up was one that should have been part of the Scream Factory collection, but it's not, and that is Q the Winged Serpent. You guys know I like Larry Cohen. Again, Michael Moriarty's in this one as well. It's a cool little cast with David Carradine and Richard Roundtree. This is a really kind of cool film, and I think it deserves to get more credit, more props, and the effects are actually pretty decent for it. Next up are the only two Scorpion releases I got, so but I wanted to shine a light on both these because I think they're really cool. Scorpion and Code Red are kind of harder for me to find. I have one. I only have this one because it was a gift to me actually. Sorceress, amazing! I was so stoked to get this one. We actually watched this one very shortly after. It's Jim Wynorski, and he wrote it and directed by Brian Stewart. You can tell Jim Wynorski wrote it. It's got a lot of his trademarks in there. It's fun. It's like a cheesy sword and sorcery type of film. It kind of mixes mythologies and that too around the place. But it wasn't a boring scene in this movie for us. We really enjoyed it. We didn't watch many of the interviews afterwards, but we are going to. And I thought it was a really, really fun film. Really crazy and out there, but I really enjoyed this film here, Sorceress. Next up is when I was in Ontario, this store that closed down now. But before they closed down, I actually got to go there, and I saw this there. And this is a movie I remember from my childhood, and that is The Unseen, Barbara Bach. I do like this movie. This is the Katrina one. There's a bunch of features on there, from Nightmare Theater. I guess she does an interview, and there's an audio commentary on there, and some on-camera interviews with people like Stephen Furst, of course, who played the killer. That's no surprise there. Doug Bauer, Craig Reardon, Tom Berman, some makeup stills and stuff like that. So I really did enjoy this film. I'm a slasher fan, so. Next up are 3 Severin releases that I think everybody should own. And like I said, I thought about putting Castle Blood or something like that in there. But Nightmare Castle. Isn't it? God, I'm so hot right now. I don't know. I have another one of these in the fridge. Thank God. first off, these are two kind of collector's editions, but they're not, multi-film or anything like that. So I thought they were definitely ones that I should show off, that everybody should have. And if you're going to get some Jess Franco stuff, these are some of the better ones to get. There's the Vampire Lesbos, which for me is everything that his Count Dracula is not, but should be. Soledad Miranda is in this one, the late Soledad Miranda. She had died at an early age, unfortunately. It is it's a very good film. I like the way that this is done. There's some great features on here. There's one feature that kind of like goes over. It's got like great just art on the cover. No thing, so it's Vampire Lesbos is right here, but the covers themselves are just art. So I had to put in the other one here, She Killed in Ecstasy, which is another really good film by Soledad Miranda. Again, the cover itself is just an artistic cover, no writing on it at all. What's really cool about this one here is that there's whereas that one had a second disc, which was the DVD of Vampire Lesbos. Pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, but also it's like Spanish, like bootleg of the Vampire Lesbos, actually, with optional subtitles. This one here had 3 films by Jess Franco CD. So Vampire Lesbos, She Killed in Ecstasy, and The Devil Came from Cassava, and that's kind of like a soundtrack CD in there. And I really like when they put soundtrack CDs in there, so had to grab that one. Last but definitely not least is a favorite of mine, a real serious favorite of mine, House on Straw Hill. It's this is not a movie for everybody, guys. Udo Kier's in this one. It is Linda Hayden is in this. It's a really strange film. That's Fern Richmond. Yeah, it's Fern Richmond. So there's some heavy sexuality in there. So this is not for the younger crowd. Just so you know, there's a bit of violence in there. But what really makes this one go? What really makes this one awesome? What brings it over, aside from having the Blu-ray and DVD, is that we have this one, Ban the Sadist Videos. This is a fantastic documentary on video nasties. You really got to see this. If you've seen those video nasty documentaries that were put out, like Video Nasties, Video Nasties 2, Draconian Days, then this one here is a must-own. House on Straw. Even if you don't like House on Straw Hill, if this is not your favorite film, Ban the Sadist Videos really, really deserves to be seen. And that's an awesome one. So, yeah. Actually, I had to go into shorts today, short territory. So we got 2 more things to get through. There's 10 that are basically randoms. And there are 10 that are Steelbooks. Which to do first? Let's go with the randoms. So 10 movies that aren't by specifically big companies, more or less, not, but that I think is one that everybody's seen in their collection. This one, especially if you've got a Blu-ray TV, or for Blu-ray, sorry, 3D TV, and that is Vincent Price, House of Wax, 3D. And again, I love this movie. I've always been a big fan of the film. What really puts it over the top for me is that aside from having that, there's some great features on here, and it does include, the same as the DVD did, the 1933 edition of Mystery of the Wax Museum, which I really, really like. I think that's a fantastic film. And there's some great features on here. There's a commentary with Dave Duvall, which you usually hear. Most of those are actually pretty damn good. 3D is actually really decent in this one here. I do recommend it. House of Wax 3D. Check it out. Pick it up. It's a great film. Next up is one that people thought was going to be expensive and limited to get because they thought Twilight Time was going to be doing it. But then Sony said, we're going to take this one. Thank you very much. And that is, with all the features except for the isolated score that Twilight Time had, with pretty much the same transfer, and with one kick-ass, really cool slipcover. It is The Amazing Christine by John Carpenter. This is a fantastic film. It's one of my favorite Stephen King books, favorite Stephen King movies. I love the way this is done. The soundtrack on this is amazing. You got deleted scenes. You got a commentary on here as well. Got some featurettes on here. But great cover, great slipcover. Probably one of my favorite slipcovers of all time is this Christine one here. I just really like the way it's done. I've watched this movie several times. This was put out, I think, by Scream Factory in the United States. But for me, the only way to own this movie, like to really own this movie and say, okay, this is the ultimate edition for that, and that's the editor. Uh, I love that this one here has an actual Giallo style cover, because this is like, based on Giallo films and kind of like uh, really like borrows from them and does it brilliantly. Really does it brilliantly. It doesn't feel like it's making fun of them or like slapping them in the face. It just feels like it's a great homage. It's a very fun film, and the editor is just like kind of crazy. But I really do like this film, and this here is the alternate artwork, and it's incredible. I mean, they did have like there's an alternate artwork for like this is the original artwork right here. Okay, and plus there's the artwork for the Scream Factory one, which has like just a reel, like a film projector with like blood and stuff. But this looks like a Giallo. This has the feel and look of an actual real Giallo, and that's the way that it should be. Scream Factory like kind of dropped the boat on the missed the boat on that one there, like dropped the ball. But this one is a really great edition. This is a Canadian edition. I highly recommend it. It has all the features, so you're not to worry about that. This one is in my collection, and I'm proud to have it in there. There is a Scream Factory edition coming out. If there's more features on Scream Factory edition, I will definitely pick that up. I will double dip on that. But as of this moment right now, like feature wise, I gotta say for me this is the one. Some people say the German edition, not for me. But it's a great Canadian edition, and I'm very proud of this, and it is Season's Greetings edition for Black Christmas. It's incredible. I mean, like, over Ultimate Edition, over 2 hours of new material, plus, archive material. So, there's a ton of features on here. First thing I did was, when I got this, was I put it in. I went to the special features section, and literally, the special features filled up my entire screen. That was that many special features on it, that many that it filled my entire screen, and incredible feature after feature after feature, just like amazing. Got interviews, commentaries, just some incredible stuff. Next up is a favorite of mine, and this is the only umbrella that I got as well. I think the umbrella's company in Australia. Then the only way I could find this on Blu-ray, and actually, a friend of mine actually sent me this one, and I was so happy. I didn't expect it at all. And that's Body Double. Really love this movie. As you guys know, I'm a huge Brian De Palma fan, and this is over any other Brian De Palma movie. Actually, it kind of got me into like going back and seeing all the Brian De Palma stuff. I remember this. I already like Craig Wasson and Greg Henry and Melanie Griffiths in this one. I love Deborah Sheldon. She was just a beautiful girl. She had just amazing eyes. The mystery of this one, actually, it's pretty easy to figure out. I thought anyway, but it's a really fun film. But it's got the song "Relax" from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and I really kind of dig that song. So thick cases in these. Oh, cool. Even if you have the box set like I do over there, there's a reason for owning this one. Halloween 2, the original edition. And I got like kind of a ring in my ears. And the awesome thing about this one is it has Tear in the Aisles. Tear in the Aisles was this like movie that I saw in the theater actually, and it had like all these like different like clips from like different films, and I really do like this one here. I really do like Tear in the Aisle. It's so fun, and it's just a great little movie. I really recommend it. This is usually, you can find this one actually, most times 30th anniversary edition. You just find this one fairly cheap. I think I bought it for less than like maybe $5 at one of the charity shops. So pretty cool. Next up is one that you will have to go on the internet or to a Comic-Con for, and that is the fun little indie film Orphan Killer. This was put out like afterwards with a Steelbook edition with a big making of documentary that I will get down the road. Actually, I did get to meet the lead actress, the director, and the lead actor. You know, the Orphan Killer himself. And that this one has like a Orphan Killer plus it has a soundtrack from the film. It's kind of like a indie heavy metal soundtrack. It's actually kind of cool. It's a very cheesy film. I did dig this one because it just it's a throwback to the old '80s stuff. But it's one that I think it's definitely worth owning. Next up is Trick or Treat. There is a DVD. This is the Blu-ray. It's definitely the way to go with this one here. There are some great features on here. What I found really cool, aside from the animated short, which actually was basically how did many of our scary season traditions start. So there's basically the lore and legend of Halloween, actually how the real traditions that we follow in Halloween, how they all started. That was a kind of a cool, unique, different way to take that and check it out. Next up is one that I really liked, and that is Double Indemnity. Finally something that's not horror or cheese. Double Indemnity is one of the best film noirs ever made. It's just fantastic. We got Fred McMurray, Barbara Stanwyck just doing incredible on this one, Edward G. Robinson. Great film. There's a bunch of great features on here. There's even a 1973 made-for-TV version of Double Indemnity that I got to check out, which I haven't seen since back in the 80s. But there's even like some, what is it, like pictures like from the film in here as well. So just some great stuff. It's a great set. Definitely recommend it. No, that doesn't like fall into like the multi-movie. And last but not least, this is just one that I personally liked a lot. It means a lot to me because of me and before I even started dating, who was the girl that is now the light of my life. We used to like hang out, and watch movies and stuff together, and kind of chill. And one of the early ones we watched, and because she said she liked horror, but she meant like older horror, and I didn't kind of pick up on that fact until much later. So we watched High Tension. I really did enjoy this movie. So we had a drop frame rate there, which kind of stopped it for a second. But some people do put up on the twist at the end of High Tension. But I really dug it. I understood what they were going with it. They said it didn't make sense, but like I said, perception, guys, perception. The twist makes sense when you realize who's telling this story, and that's why we see certain things in ways that don't logically make sense because the perception is skewed. Anyway, I promised you guys 10 Steelbooks, and I shall deliver on that. Kind of my favorite Steelbooks of all time. Some are just, I wanted to put some, the ones that did make it in there, not because I didn't think they belonged on the list, but because I wanted to mix it up a bit and have different types. So I got some Arrow stuff in here, got some stuff that's not Arrow, and the one time that I broke my rule of having like multi-films is for the Steelbook. So first off is Rabbit. I love this one. I love this movie. I love this Steelbook edition of it. It's just gorgeous. There's some great features on here. I highly recommend this film. I know Scream Factory is putting out. It's going to be hard for Scream Factory to top Arrow on this one. They haven't been able to top Arrow so far on any of the other dual releases that they've done, in my humble opinion. But I would love to see them do it because this is a fantastic film. Next up is Shivers. Again, a great Cronenberg film, but one that had like some people were upset that a couple scenes were missing. It didn't bother me. The scenes really didn't like hurt the flow of the film. There's only one scene there where it actually kind of like I would like to see this, like that actual little tiny splinter of a scene in the film. They did actually go ahead and they took the time, but they actually put out replacement discs, which they even upgraded the documentary with new scenes as well. So if you got your replacement disc, check out the documentary again. You'll see that as well. And the Shiver is great. It's fantastic. Just look at that Steelbook. It's just one of my favorites. Next up is Demons. Again, I love, as you guys know, and Demons too. I love this. I know that Snaps put out such an amazing edition, but so did Arrow, and they put them out for a fraction of the price with both of them on there. Some decent special features as well. Some fantastic, in my opinion, artwork for both Demons and Demons 2, and definitely worth checking out. Next up is Tenebrae. I love this movie. Everybody knows how much I love this movie. This has an amazing documentary on Giallo films. This was gifted to me, and it was one of those exciting things where I just, like, my better half was gone, and I got this one here from a good friend of mine, and I just sat down and I watched the movie, and I watched all the features, and I just spent a whole, like, evening just, like, poring over this film because I really, really enjoyed it so much. It is a great, great addition, and like I say, Synapse does do some very incredible steelbooks. So I can't fault them on that. They do, when they put it together, quality stuff, and the features on this are amazing. Next up is Return of the Living Dead from Second Sight. Like I said, I got a lot of Return of the Living Dead stuff. I do need the Scream Factory one. I will get that when I can actually afford it. But there are some great exclusive features on here. There's even an exclusive, kind of notepad, booklet called Ernie's Notepad, and there's some great stuff on here as well. Some great artwork. This has the original soundtrack. All the songs are there. Scream Factory is missing one song, but in this case, all of them are there. There's not one song missing. It's not like an MGM release or the Scream Factory release. There's not one song missing. All the original songs are right there. I wanted to put an animated one there as well, and with Suicide Squad coming up, and this being a movie that I actually did have a lot of fun watching, I thought, why not? It's a really cool looking one. Took the place what was going to be the Beyond, actually, on there, but I wanted to get one of the animated ones in there, and that is Assault on Arkham Batman. It's not really a Batman film as much as a Suicide Squad film. I did have a lot of fun with this one here. Definitely kind of a cool little film. Will the actual Suicide Squad film be as good as this one? I don't know. I hope so. I really do. But I wanted to have one animated one on here, and I've only got a couple animated steelbooks. There's this one, and there's Batman, Son of Batman, and I don't think I've watched Son of Batman yet, to be honest with you. So the one I watched is going on there, and that's really cool. So this one, I don't remember what the features are in this one. I think this is a pretty featureless edition, but I wanted this one's on here kind of for the look of the steelbook that I think is a cool, basically I'm showing you steelbooks. I'm not showing you some of these here for all the time for the features. They're steelbooks. You want some of these for the way they look and the way they are. And so basically, Glorious Bastards. I do like the way this is done. I got to check this one out. I got a regular edition of this one, a regular Blu-ray edition, and a DVD edition of this as well. So I've never actually, to be honest with you, watched this one here to see what the features are, what's on it. So I figure it's pretty much probably just like a standard Blu-ray with maybe a couple features on. There's not really a lot, is there, on the normal Tarantino one? I don't know. I just like the movie, and I thought this was I really like the kind of way that's gone in there. Next up is I want to have one of these in there as well, so I was going back and forth. I've got 3 of these, but I decided that it's a classic film. I like the look of it, so I wanted to get one of those basically comic art looking ones in there, and I chose Jurassic Park. It is so cool looking. I really like the look of this one here. I have a couple of the Pitch Black, and I got Chronicles of Riddick as well. Those are the 3 of these type that I got. I would like to have more of these, actually. They're very cool. Very fun looking. Next up is Al Pacino's Scarface Limited Edition. Now this one is stacked. It does have a bunch of features. All the features you expect are on there. It's got some cards on here as well. But what's even more important for me is that it has the original Scarface with Paul Muni and Boris Karloff. That's a really cool movie too, by the way. That's on here. It's got its own disc, actually. It's only, I think it's on DVD as opposed to Blu-ray, but still, that I don't mind. Scarface is just one of those films, fantastic film. If you watch any episode of MTV Cribs back in the day, they showed a lot of Scarface in there. And last but definitely not least is a fun other second sight one. All three films, each one has their own disc. Cannot, gotta love it. And that is the Basket Case Trilogy. Basket Case Trilogy, there it is right there. Just some incredible stuff. I do find these movies really fun and cheesy, and you know, they're 42nd Street, New York style films. They really are. And Basket Case Trilogy is how we're going to end this one today. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I wanted to make a follow-up video. There are more of these videos coming. I got like a DVD editions of this coming with some cool DVDs that I got. Like we're basically that's when you're gonna get some like cool 10-part list, like 10 movie lists. I got box sets where I'm gonna pick my best of my Scream Factory and my best of my Arrow on that, and kind of like showcase which ones I think you should really look out for. Some that are in print, some are that are out of print, and hopefully which ones like to put in the order that are important to you and were important to me. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I gotta go grab. Normally I say I'm grab some tea, but tonight it's time for it's time for tea. I'll grab some cold tea and a cold tea. I'll grab a lukewarm tea and keep me awake to finish off this video, and also another vanilla Coke. So it's time for tea. It's time for vanilla Coke. But I have a caffeine addiction, so it is time for tea. Thanks for watching. Hey there, and thanks for staying for the after credit sequence. It's actually pretty small this time around. I did mention that I picked up a game recently. If you got me on Facebook or anything like that, you know what I got already, or you still know me on Instagram. So that was actually Rare Replay. I'm a huge fan of this game. I basically there's like 20 something games on there that you have to that you put in. It kind of loads them into your Xbox for your Xbox One, and then there's the ones that are kind of come on the virtual console, were basically backwards compatible type of thing, so they each load on their own, which some people didn't like, but I actually kind of dug that fact. And I'm gonna try and see what something else I can find out for you here. So Charmed 007, in case you don't know my Instagram account and you wanna just see me on there, it's Charmed 007. So Rare Replay, I played some Battletoads on here. I played a bunch of Banjo-Kazooie last night. I'm going to probably play some Perfect Dark tonight. Maybe check out a couple of the other games. Conker's Bad Fur Day I haven't seen in a long time. People get like off, kind of find it different where they have they have different controls. They now right now, and a lot of these games are more punishingly hard. Like we weren't wimps in the days of old when it came to video games. Our hands weren't held. Things were hard. Things had lives. Had so many lives, and you got killed. You had to do stuff over again. Sometimes you had to go all the way back. And if you were playing Battletoads, there was no like rewind feature like we got here. If you got so far in the game, you were super stoked because you knew you had the skills, and you had the mad skills for it. Rare was one of my favorite companies growing up. When I started like playing a lot of their game stuff. This starts back from 1983 here, and goes right on in some of the. We got the list. There's only 30 games. I'll list them. Tick Attack is on here, which is kind of like a before Zelda type of Zelda game. Banjo-Kazooie is an incredible game. It's considered up there in the platformers right up with the Mario 64. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, so of course was done for the 360. Banjo-Tooie was the sequel. Battletoads is on here. I forgot how kind of rudimentary the graphics for Battletoads were, but I fell back into the gameplay right away. Battletoads Arcade, which is one that was exclusive to the arcades, on here as well. Blast Corps, which is a fantastic game from the N64. I loved it. Cobra Triangle is a really underrated game, actually. Conker's Bad Fur Day, and this is the original. It's not the reloaded. People ask why they didn't put the reloaded version Conker's Bad Fur Day instead, because it sucked and they censored it. That's why. Digger T Rock was actually it's okay. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Gunfight, Jet Force Gemini, because it was one that A lot of people say it doesn't play as well as it did back in the day. I haven't checked it out yet. I'll find out. Jetpack, which Jetpack refueled with the cameo Elements of Power. This is one of the original games for the Xbox 360. Killer Instinct Gold, Night Lord, Lunar Jetman, Perfect Dark, the classic, of course. Perfect Dark Zero, the not so classic. RC Pro Am, RC Pro Am 2. Actually, they're pretty cool. Saber Wolf, Slalom, that's another one from Snake Rattle and World. I remember playing that when I was younger. Didn't know it was a rare game though. Solar Jetman, Underworld, Viva Pinata, which I'm not gonna lie, I really did dig, and Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. Excellent compilation disc. Really do like it. It really sets the bar high when it comes for future compilation discs that are coming out there. There is like little documentaries and making ofs and all that stuff on here as well. Some very cool stuff. Shows you like some behind the scenes of some of the games. Behind the scenes about Rare. Some games that never got made or never made it to past their basic planning stages. Check it out. Rare Replay. This thing can run you usually between $20 to $30. If you got an Xbox One, it's well worth getting. Thanks for watching, guys. And for me right now, even though it's insanely hot, I'm going to turn on the fan and I'm going to drink some tea. It is time for tea. And putting these movies back. But first, tea.